Your life is every level of secret agent. Right now, somewhere in the world, a secret agent is reading your encrypted messages. They're listening to your calls. They're watching your every move. And the terrifying part? You have no idea what level they're operating at. Because there are 9 different levels of secret agents, and each one is playing an entirely different game. Today, we're walking through what your life would actually be like at every single level. And trust me, some of these will shock you. Let's start at the absolute bottom. Level 1 is the entry-level asset. You're not even an official agent yet. You're what they call a civilian asset or a useful contact. Maybe you work at an embassy. Maybe you're a hotel manager. Maybe you're just someone with access to something valuable. The intelligence agencies of the world have quietly approached you, and you've agreed to help. Your job is simple: notice things, report things, hand over documents that happen to cross your desk. Your life looks completely normal. You go to work, you come home, but now there's a dead drop location you check once a week, a burner phone that buzzes occasionally with coded messages. You're making decent money, $3,000 a month, but you're constantly paranoid. Every conversation could expose you. Your spouse has no idea. Your friends have no idea. You can't tell anyone, ever. The psychological weight of this is immense. You're living a double life, but you haven't even been trained yet. You're just a nervous civilian with a secret. Level 2 is the trained handler. This is where things get serious. You've been officially recruited, you've passed a background check, you've been taken to a safe house, and you've undergone your first real training. Not the movie stuff, the actual spy stuff. You learn dead drops. You learn how to identify surveillance. You learn how to shake a tail. You learn basic cryptography and counter-surveillance techniques. Your instructors are former field agents, and they're hard on you because in the real world, being sloppy gets you killed. Or worse, it gets your asset killed. Your life is now split between your cover job and your handler responsibilities. You're managing 2 or 3 civilian assets. You're meeting them in public places, parks, coffee shops, museums. You're using code words to communicate. You're photographing documents. You're running dead drops in the middle of the night. You're making $5,000 a month now, but you're working constantly. Your stress levels are through the roof. You can't sleep properly. You can't maintain real relationships. The weight of responsibility is crushing you. These people you're handling, they're risking everything. If they get caught, you're responsible. But you're not on the field yet. You're still behind the scenes. Level 3 is the field operative. Now you're actually doing it. You've been fully trained. You've learned fieldcraft at an advanced level. You can identify surveillance from a moving car. You can lose a tail in 5 minutes. You can pick a lock. You can break into a location, photograph classified documents, and be out in under 20 minutes without leaving a trace. Your life is compartmentalized into different identities now. You have 3 or 4 different cover stories complete with documentation, fake passports, fake credit cards, fake social media accounts that go back years. You travel constantly. You might be in Prague on Monday, Moscow on Wednesday, and back in your home country by Friday. The stress is unlike anything you've ever experienced. Every mission could be your last. You're breaking into government buildings. You're bugging embassy cars. You're photographing military installations. The people you're doing this for, they're serious. If you're caught, they'll deny you ever existed. You'll be disavowed. You'll be tried for espionage and face decades in prison. Your personal life has essentially ceased to exist. You can't maintain relationships. You can't have friends. Your apartment is just a place where you occasionally sleep between missions. You're making $15,000 a month, but money is meaningless when you're this stressed. You're drinking too much. You're having nightmares about getting caught. You're checking every shadow, every car, every person in every room, and you're starting to wonder what you're actually accomplishing. Level 4 is the deep cover operative. This is where it gets absolutely insane. You've been placed in a foreign country under a completely false identity. Not just a cover job, a completely constructed life. Everything about you is a lie. You have a fake name, a fake family background, a fake education. You speak the language fluently. You've spent years preparing for this. You have a fake job at a fake company that's actually controlled by your intelligence agency. You have fake friends who are also operatives or assets. Your entire existence is a performance. You're living in a hostile foreign country. You might be in China, you might be in Russia, you might be in North Korea. Your job is to infiltrate a target organization and send back intelligence. This could take years, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. You're building relationships slowly, gaining trust incrementally, moving up the ladder. Your psychological state is deteriorating. You can't remember who you really are anymore. You've been living as this person for so long that the fake identity feels more real than your actual identity. You occasionally remember your real family, but they think you're dead or they've been told you're doing something classified. They've been told not to contact you. You've lost them forever. You're making 30,000 a month now, but you can't spend it. Where are you going to spend it? You're in a hostile country under a false identity. Money in the bank would only create a trail. You live modestly. You're isolated. You're absolutely alone. And the worst part, you don't know how much longer this will last. Your handler says maybe another 5 years, maybe 10. Maybe you'll be here until you retire. Maybe you'll be here until you die. Level 5 is the counterintelligence specialist. You've been pulled back from the field, but you're elevated to something different. You're now responsible for identifying threats, other spies, moles, double agents. Your job is paranoia. You analyze communications. You monitor suspicious behavior. You look at financial records, phone records, travel patterns. You're trying to figure out who among your colleagues might actually be working for the enemy, and everyone is a potential suspect. Your life becomes a constant investigation. You're following your own people. You're listening to their conversations. You're checking their financial records. You're interviewing them under the guise of routine security checks. You're conducting psychological evaluations. You're looking for inconsistencies in their stories. But here's what destroys you. You start seeing conspiracies everywhere. You start suspecting people who are actually loyal. You start destroying careers and reputations based on circumstantial evidence. You've become a paranoid, isolated figure in the intelligence community. People don't trust you. People don't like you. But you've been right before. You've caught actual moles, so they keep you around. You're making 45,000 a month. You have authority. You have power. But you're alone in a way that level 4 operatives could never understand. You're the person everyone fears. Level 6 is the operations director. You've moved into management. You're not in the field anymore, and you're not investigating. You're planning. You're orchestrating. You're responsible for multiple operations happening simultaneously in different parts of the world. You work in a secure facility. You sit in meetings. You review intelligence reports. You make decisions that send people into danger. You approve budgets for operations that could get people killed. You're the person who decides whether a risky mission is worth the potential intelligence gain. Your life is compartmentalized into classified briefings and secure communications. You can't talk to anyone about what you do. You go to work at the agency headquarters. You come home, you sit in silence because you can't discuss anything from your day with anyone. Your spouse knows you work for the government, but they don't know what you do. Your kids think you have a boring office job. You're making 80,000 a month. You're respected within the agency. You have influence. You have resources. But you carry the weight of every operation you've approved. When an operative gets killed in the field, you think about the decision you made. When an operation goes wrong and innocent people die, you remember that you authorized it. The pressure is immense. You're smoking too much. You're drinking too much. You're taking medication for anxiety. You're developing health problems from the stress. You're wondering if any of this is actually making the world safer, or if you're just moving pieces around a board while people die. Level 7 is the deputy director. You're now one of the top officials in the entire intelligence apparatus. You're attending meetings with government officials. You're briefing congressional committees. You're involved in policy decisions that affect national security. Your life is completely consumed by the job. You work 16-hour days. You're on call 24 hours a day. You have a security detail now. You have a private driver. You have secure phones and encrypted communications. You live in a nice house in a nice neighborhood, but you can't really enjoy it because you're always working. You're making 250,000 a month, but money is irrelevant to you now. You're thinking about legacy. You're thinking about your place in history. You're thinking about whether the decisions you've made have made the country safer. but you're also becoming isolated from reality. You're surrounded by people who tell you what you want to hear. You're getting intelligence filtered through multiple layers of analysis. You're making decisions about operations you can't fully understand because the details are compartmentalized. You're micromanaging situations from thousands of miles away, while operatives in the field are dealing with realities you can't comprehend. You've lost touch with what it actually means to be a spy. You've become an administrator. You're political, you're strategic, you're calculating. The person you were at level 1 would barely recognize who you've become. Level 8 is the director. You're at the top, you're the head of an entire intelligence agency. You control thousands of operatives, you control billions of dollars. You have the ear of the president. You sit in situation room meetings. You participate in decisions about military strikes, sanctions, and covert operations that affect millions of lives. Your life is no longer your own. You have a full security detail. You live in a secure residence. Every phone call you make is recorded and monitored. Every meeting you have is documented. Your calendar is scheduled by someone else. Your diet is controlled. Your movements are tracked. You're making $500,000 a month, but you don't actually touch money anymore. Everything is handled for you. Everything is provided. Your life has become completely transactional. But here's the thing that most people don't understand. You're actually less powerful than you think. You're subject to congressional oversight. You're beholden to the president. You're constrained by law. You have to justify your decisions to politicians who don't understand intelligence. You have to balance national security with ethical concerns you personally don't care about. You're managing crises constantly. A mole in an allied agency, an operation that went wrong and killed civilians, a leak to the media that's compromised 3 years of intelligence gathering, a cyber attack on your infrastructure, a terrorist attack that your agency failed to prevent. The weight is unbearable. You're on antidepressants. You're seeing a classified psychiatrist. You're having panic attacks at midnight. You're wondering if you should resign, but you can't resign because you know too much. You know where all the bodies are buried, literally and figuratively. And the worst part? You're realizing that you've spent your entire life climbing this ladder, and now that you're at the top, you're realizing it's a cage. Level 9 is the retired legend. You've made it out. You've served your country for 40 years. You've done things that will never be declassified. You've made decisions that changed history. You've lost people you cared about. You've sacrificed everything: your personal life, your health, your relationships, your sense of self. Now you're in retirement. You're supposed to be relaxed. You're supposed to be enjoying your life, but you can't. Your mind doesn't work that way anymore. You're hyper-vigilant. You're paranoid. You're checking every shadow. You're certain that someone's listening to your phone calls, and you might be right, because you know how the intelligence apparatus actually works. You're making $100,000 a month from your retirement pension, and you have a comfortable life, but you're isolated. You're haunted by the decisions you made. You're haunted by the people who died because of you. You're haunted by the people you got killed. You're haunted by the operations that went wrong. You're haunted by the ones that went right. You've written a book, but it's heavily redacted by the government before publication. You do speaking tours at universities, but you can only talk about 30% of what you actually did. You know more about world events than the president, but nobody asks you for advice anymore. You're living in a nice house on a lake somewhere. You're supposed to be happy. You've won. You made it to the top and back down again. But every night, you lie awake thinking about the person you were at level 1. That person who was nervous about making a dead drop. That person who thought this was about making a difference. You've spent your entire life in the shadows, and now the shadows won't leave you alone. So there it is, 9 levels of secret agent, 9 different lives, 9 different versions of hell disguised as prestige and patriotism. The next time you see a movie where the secret agent saves the world and looks cool doing it, remember what you just learned. Remember that every single person doing this work is paying a price. Some of them know the price they're paying. Most of them don't realize how much it's going to cost until it's too late. And if you ever feel like your life is too stressful, just remember, somewhere right now, someone is living as level 4. Someone is 9 years into a false identity in a hostile country, completely alone. Someone at level 5 is listening to their colleagues, suspecting everyone of being a double agent. Someone at level 7 is making a decision that will get people killed, and they'll never be able to tell anyone about it. Thanks for watching. If you want to see what your life would be like at every level of something else, check out our other videos. And if you somehow made it this far, you probably have the resilience to survive anything.